22nd of August, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Welcome back, Lou.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, so we're recording. Okay, so yesterday we got up to we explained the question. Oh no, yeah. No, not Rabbi Chama. Actually, what we did, we did Rava. Amar Rava. Rava said, "Hashta Amar Amrin Migu." Now that you say that there's this principle of Migu over here, which basically means since he has the ability to acquire it for himself, and he is acquiring the object for himself, he also has the ability at that point to cause a second person to also make an acquisition in this item. And in the case of our Mishnah on Daf Beis, that means that the two people that pick up the talus, each one of them needs the other one to have in mind that when they pick up their side of the talus to acquire for themselves, they also have in mind that their friend on the other side of the talus, who's not picking up that side of the talus, should also be regarded as though he's picking up that side of the talus. And only like that, each one of them can make any acquisition whatsoever in the talus. So what Rava said was, if that is so, then what happens when we got a pikeach and a cheresh? We got a person that has all his faculties, then we have a person who doesn't have all of his faculties, and he's actually Torah. He's not able to make an acquisition for himself, let alone make an acquisition for a second person. So, but he says that according to this principle of Migu, we should be able to say that when these two people pick it up, then both of them will be Kona. And then the Gemora objected to that. The Gemora said, no, really, the Cherish should be the only one who should acquire over here, because he's got the Pikeach, who's a Bardas, who's picking it up for him, having him in mind. But the other way around, the Pikeach, all he has to help him to make a Kenyan is the Cherish, and the Cherish is not good enough. So we're up to the words in the Gemora, Ella Ema. Ella Ema. So you want to know where these words are.
On
Ella Ema.
I'm sorry, A8A2, right-hand column, last paragraph.
Okay. Hey. Oh, Alan, you got a red mic. You got to remove your red mic. You're on mute, Alan.
Not anymore. Okay.
Okay, good.
All right. So again, give me where we're starting. 883 or 882?
El Ema.
We're on 8A2, right-hand column, last paragraph.
The Gemara attempts at the very bottom of the page.
The Gemora, just above that, the Gemora deflects the challenge.
Okay. All right. The Gemara, wait a minute. Is it 882?
8A2, yes, the right-hand column,
Right.
the last paragraph. To deflect the challenge, the Gemora amends.
Okay, got it. To deflect the challenge, the Gemara amends Rav's statement, Ela Amor, rather say, Haresh Konor, the definite acquires Piketa Lo Konor, but the competent person does not acquire. Gemara attempts to refute the emendation. We go. Now, if this was indeed Bava's ruling, what's the sense principle that enables a definite to acquire? With more answers, Migo, Dish, Nay, Chera, Shin, but all of more, Konu. Since two definutes generally acquire a found object if they look at simultaneously, this definite also acquires a found object when he lifts it together with the competent person. The more objects to this interpretation of Bava's statement, he may, what kind of ruling is this? It is untenable. Im Timatsor Lomer Maga Ha Mitzi or Lachem Bero Konoa Ha Miror, even if you assume that if when one lifts a found object intending to acquire it entirely for his fellow and not for himself, his fellow does acquire it. Aiming the relay. Still, this is only so only Hechor de Kor or Magade lay on the tour the Ray, we lifted the object with the intent that his fellow acquire it, that is why the fellow acquires it. I Tor the nor a core Magabi leg, but this competent person lifted the object primarily with the intent that he himself acquire it. Ihu lo kone, he himself does not acquire a portion of it. Rene makane, so does he intend to acquire it for others? Of course not. Accordingly, since the competent person never intended to acquire it from deaf mute, the latter should not acquire it.
Okay, let's try to figure this out. Okay, so yesterday the Rashis we did up to we did the Magala Bendas. So now we're up to my Migu. My Migu. So this is after. This is it's a little bit past the halfway mark in Rashi. Dibra Masil, my migu.
And how is this sense? There is to say, hacha here, the kamra that it says, hashta now, the ameret migo, that he says migo, I'm reading migo, that he says amigo, the cheresh and a deaf person, amai kane. Why would he acquire it? How low zache, that it is not, he does not merit the bikeach, the bikeach one, the one of sound mind is not merit l'nafshe for himself. The name will say the zache nami, that he should acquire it also lavreya for his friend. Below have agba, and if he didn't pick it up, the peteach, that the peteach agba would have to pick it up.
Okay, so yeah, those are the words that Rashi said. Now, what we got to do is figure out how they apply in the Gemora over here. So Rashi's addressing himself to the words in the Gemora, my migu, which follow the Gemora's words, ela ema cherish kona bikef lo kona. So here the Gemora took the liberty to entirely change around Rava's words as we had them initially, because of the question that the Gemara asks. Cannot be, says the Gemara, that when a cherish and a bikeach both pick up the talis together, that they'll both be kona. Rather, what we need to say is that the cherish, we could understand he could be kona, but the bikeach, he's not going to be kona because he needs the cherish to have him in mind in regard to the other half of the talis that the bikeach himself did not physically pick up. He's relying on the other person to have him in mind on for the side of the talis that he did not, the he meaning the bikeach did not pick up himself. And the cherish is not capable of doing that, says the Gemara, having the bikeach in mind. So therefore, the bikeach can't make any kinyan whatsoever, even though he did pick up his side of the talis. Because, like we said before, and we'll say it again, so we reinforce our understanding of this Gemara. In terms of the kinyan hagbah, what is required to make a kinyan hagbah, person needs to pick up the entire item off the ground. It's not enough that he picks up his side and says, "Oh, it's okay because I'm just gonna, I'm only planning on acquiring half of the talis." If that's what you want to do, you got to pick up the whole talis. You can't pick up a portion of it. You won't make any acquisition at all. So therefore, the Gemara says, so if so, my migu. And Rashi explained, my migu ikala meima hacha. What's the migu that we could say over here? Now, what's the migu that we could say over here? Because Rava himself started off his statement by saying, Hashta the Amar Amin migu. Now that we've said that we say migu, this principle of migu is a real din. So then we could say what we said. Well, what is that? What's the migu now? We got to change around the migu from just like we got to change around what the din is that Rava said. We got to change around the migu. So that's what Rashi's dealing with over here. My migu ikul meimar hacha. To run on Rashi, meaning it runs the sentence. Rashi's just finishing off the sentence of the question the Gemara said. My migu, what's the migu that there is to say hacha over here, the ka'amar that Rava was referring to when he said hashta the amar migu amrinin migu. Okay. So what's the issue? Says Rashi, Cheresh am I konig? Why even should the Cheresh be konig? Alo zoche pikeach lenafshe. Because why we said before that the Cheresh will be konig, but now we're saying no. The pikeach can't be mezaka the Cheresh because he wasn't mezaka himself. That's what it means. Halo zoche pikeach lenafshe. But the pikeach, he wasn't even zocha anything in the item lenafshe, because right, like we've been saying, the name of the zocha nami lechabre, such that we should say that since he's zocha for himself, he can now have the ability to be zocha a second party. V'lo have hadbo, the pikeach hadbo, and it comes out, says Rashi, because the reason why that is because the hadbo that the pikeach made in half of the talus, his side of the talus, is nishkin hadbo. That's not called a halachically acceptable hadbo that makes a kinyan at all, any kinyan whatsoever. So since he didn't make any kinyan whatsoever, he cannot cause the cheresh either to make a kinyan. Oh, so Rashi's pointing out we got a problem over here. So the Gemora said after that, when we said my migu, the shnei charashim ba'alma konu hainami konu. So the Gemora said, yeah, we have a solution for this. That the migu that Rava was talking about is the following migu. Migu the shnei charashim ba'alma konu. Since if you would have a case where you got two charashim on picking up an item, since both of them are konu, both of them will be konu. Hainami konu. Over here also, it's no worse when you have only one cheresh and then one pikeach who has all of his faculties. That's not a worse case for kinyan than if two charashim pick it up, and we're saying that will be a kinyan. Now, we got to ask ourselves the question, though. That's a very nice answer that the Gemora is saying, but how is that going to work? Especially in light of what Rashi told us just now. How can two Harashim pick it up and acquire? Maybe that's what the Gemara is going to ask right now. Let's see the Gemara further now. Hi, Mai. Lou, you want to read the Gemara? Hi, Mai.
Okay. Let's see. Got hi, Mai. What kind of ruling is this? It's untenable.
Yeah.
Im Titza Lamar Ha Magbiha Metzia Lacha Vero Kana Chavero. If you want, you can say he lifted it up. When he lifted up the object for his friend. He acquired for his friend. Hanemile. These words. Heka dekoi. Magba le adata dechavre, where he lifted the object with the intent that his fellow would acquire it. Hi adata dide ka min migba le. But this fully competent person lifted the object primarily with the intent that he himself acquired. He who no kane, if he himself does not acquire a part of it, the acharine makne, the other one acquires it. But does the other one acquire it? Of course not.
Right, rhetorical question. Yeah, very good, excellent. Right, that's a rhetorical. Those two last words are a rhetorical question.
Right.
Okay, so what? So the Gemora is asking my high. The Gemora is saying, what's the comparison over here between a cheresh and a pikeach and two charashim? There's no comparison over here. Okay. Oh wow! It's because Gemora seems to be going back to Rami Bar Chama, because this is what Rami Bar Chama said before. If you'll say that it's true that when Jew number one, Magbia Metzia Chavero, he picks it up entirely with the thought in mind that he wants to have Jew number two acquire this item, nothing for himself. If you say that will work, we actually said that there was no proof for that. But the Gemara is saying over here, if you'll take on, for the sake of the argument, that Rami Bar Chama's din is true, and that's what we could learn out from the Mishnah when with the two people picking up the talis. Honey, really, that will only hold true. That's only holding true when his whole intention of Jew number one is to pick it up for Jew number two. He has no intention, in other words, to acquire it for himself, Jew number one. Only for Jew number two. He's a real Gutzkeit, totally for the other one. But that's not comparable to our case over here, says the Gemara. Hi, this one, the Bikeach, and really it's true of the Mishnah as well, right? It's true of the Mishnah as well. This Bikeach, but in any case, the case that we're talking about here right now is Rava's case when you got one Bikeach who doesn't have enough das, and then the Bikeach who does have full das. In this case, with this Bikeach, Adaita day komakbile. He's picking it up primarily with his own himself in mind to make an acquisition. And so, if so, says the Gemara, but he himself, for himself, cannot make an acquisition, like we said before. Why? Because he needs the cherish to have him in mind, and the cherish doesn't have a mind to have him in mind with, and so therefore he cannot the bikeach become anything. And if that was his primary intention in making an acquisition, if so, lachrini makte, could he cause the other one to make an acquisition when he himself is trying to make one and he's not able to make one? Certainly not. That's the Gemara's question. So okay, we have Rashi's on this, I believe. Which one we got? Im Tim Sulaimar. So you want to do Im Tim Sulaimar? Oh, Phil, you're muted. You unwittingly unmuted yourself.
I had that off because the phone was ringing. Okay.
Okay.
A few im team salom, even if you say if you would want to say Hagmagbia, the one who lifts it up, Metzia founded it, the Chavero. He lifted up to find the found object for his friend.
Right. So even if we would say, which we said that we weren't able to prove this, what the Rabbi Bar Chama Tainus. The Gemara said we got no proof from our Mishnah. But in any case, the Gemara is saying, even if you'll say that it's true, for the sake of the argument, that Jew number one picks it up for Jew number two entirely, not for himself at all. So even if you'll say that that works, that he could do it, he could make a kinyan for Jew number two, it's precisely because because he only had in mind to make an acquisition for Jew number two. So the fact that he wasn't making an acquisition, that wasn't part of his das. So maybe it'll work like that he could be mezaka a second person because he wasn't intending to make any kinyan at all. So it won't stop him in the ability to make a kinyan for the second one. But in our case, that's not true of the Pikeach. The Pikeach primarily wants to make a kinyan for himself. He's not picking it up in order to so that the Herish should acquire it completely. He wants it for himself. So in that case, if he himself is not making any acquisition, so then it stands to reason that he can't cause the Herish to acquire anything either. Okay. That's the next Rashi. It's a 6-word Dibra Maskil and it's a 2-word Rashi. Yeah, so Rashi just said the haka here in the case of the Pikeach, Rashi identifies that it's the Pikeach that we're talking about.
If it's on the mind of him, ka megbalo, that he's lifting it, and then it says e Pikeach, that if he's a whatchamacallit, he's a Pikeach.
Right, right. Because the Gemara didn't say who it was that we're talking about. Gemara just said, "Hi, he, that one, the died today." On the basis of his making an acquisition for himself, he picked it up. Who are we talking about? Rashi identifies. We're talking about the Pikeach. And so since he's not able to make an acquisition, likewise, he won't be able to cause the Cherish to make any acquisition either. So it's not true that we can amend the statement of Rava to say that the Cherish is Kona, although the Pikeach is not Kona. The Gemara now rejects that as an alternative explanation of Rava, and so now we got to move on and come up with something that Rava said that we can accept. So far, we haven't accepted two suggestions as to what Rava said. Now we're coming for a third try. Ela Ema. So this is the second Ela Ema. See where this is? This is it's the second narrow line to the end of the Gemara, and it's the last word in the line. The first word in the line is magba, and then you got to go all the way to the end of the line, and then that's where we're up to. Ela Ema. This is the second Ela Ema. This is the second attempt that the Gemara is making to find something, a statement to attribute to Rava that makes the Gemara can accept. So we go back to Alan.
883, left-hand column, having rejected.
Yeah.
Having rejected the previous invitation of Robert's statement, the Gemara suggests another. And more, rather say, Shalom Konor Pikeach, because the competent person did not acquire the object, no Konor, the definite did not acquire it either. The Gemara questions this explanation. Tamar. And if you ask, my Shana, Shanei, Shin, the Olamor, they're drilling outside. So why this is different than two deaf mutes in general who acquire a found object if they lived it simultaneously? Gemara answers, Hamor. There, in the case of two deaf mutes, Torquino, rabbis enacted a special provision for deaf mutes, enabling them to acquire under rabbinic law, delay or say, so that deaf people should not come to quarrel when told that their acquisitions are meaningless. Here in Rama's case, however, the deaf mute will not acquire if his acquisition is acquired. It's taken from him because, more Omar, he will reason, the competent person did not acquire a share in the object. Or Noah Ekane, I should acquire, seeing no reason to enact a special provision. The sages did not do so, since the deaf mute is not subject to biblical law, he cannot acquire.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so the Gemara is saying it's Rabbi can't say that they both. This is how we've got so far. Rabbi wanted to initially say that when the Pikeach and the Cherish pick up the talus, this was step one. They both acquire. The Gemara said, no, that can't be. You got to say that the Cherish acquires and the Pikeach does not acquire. That's step two. On that, the Gemara says, no, you can't say that either. Because if he can't acquire it for himself, the Pikeach, he can't cause the Cherish to acquire anything either. So we go to step three, Ema, that what happens is that Rabba means to say because the Pikeach was not able to acquire anything, the Cherish also likewise will not be able to acquire anything. So what we did is that we're saying exactly the opposite of what we had Rabba on record as originally saying. Now we're saying that Rabba must have said that since the Pikeach cannot make an acquisition, so therefore the Cherish will not be able to make any acquisition either. Now, do we have a Rashi for this? Not yet. Okay, so on that, the Gemara asks, why is this case that Rabba picked to talk about one Pikeach and one Cherish? Why is that din any different than the din of Shnei Charashim, the Alma? When you got two Charashim. And what did we say over there in that din of two Charashim? We said that both of them will be Kona? Did we stay with that? In the case where two Charashim pick it up together, the din is that both of them, Taka, acquire, not Midaraisa, but Midrabanan because of the Takanas Chachamim Mishum Darkei Shalom. So the Gemara is really, maybe Rashi is going to point this out. More say? What the Gemara is going to say, what's behind the Gemara's question is that if so, why we should have also had to make that same takana in the case where you only got one cherish who's picking up the item, the other one is a pikeach. We should have the Chachamim should have made a takana over there also for the benefit of the cherish to say that he is kona. And on that, the Gemara answered, no, will be distinguished between the two cases. They made the takana when both of them, are charashim. Tikinu Rabbanan over there, the lo asi lentsue. But over here, when you only got one cherish and the other one's a pikeach, we didn't do it. The Gemara is going to explain an answer for that. Meimar Amar pikeach lo kani an aknei. Since if we leave it on the din deraisa, so the pikeach will not be kona, so the cherish won't be he won't have anything to fight about. He'll say an aknei. If the pikeach is not able to make a kinyan over here, he doesn't not necessarily understand why, but he knows, I guess, that the calf is not making a kinyan over here on an akne. I should be better than him. That I should, yes, be able to acquire this house. So therefore, he's not going to come to think that he has really any ownership interest in the talus, and then there's not going to be fighting if somebody takes it away from them. Okay. Rashi. We got a Rashi over here, another two-word Rashi. The lo leise linsuye. Phil, you want to read the Rashi? Oh, you got to unmute again.
I'm trying to catch the words in the Gemara. It's the low east that it isn't to him. Le'inse,
The little Ossi, that they shouldn't come. Ossi is to come linsue, to fight. They shouldn't come to a fight.
To a fight. Okay. Im ha-chotfim mehem.
Right. I don't know why Rashi needs to tell us that, but he already told us that before. But anyway, that's what he's gonna. Who's he gonna fight with? Who's the Cherish gonna fight with? Imachotfim mehem, the ones that are chotev the talus away from the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that word doesn't have a good taste in our mouth today.
Oh, isn't. Okay. Take care. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Phil.
Well, I should hopefully be around as much as I can. You know, sometimes you just have to be with these kids. They're all off. They're off for another week before they go back to school. So I don't know whether or not the families, with the grandkids, different days. Okay.
Okay. All the best.
Take care. Thanks.
Bye. Shabbat shalom.
Okay.
Bye, Alan.
Okay, bye.
And bye, Lou.
Okay, have a good day. See you tomorrow at 10:30.
Ezrat Hashem. Okay.